Yeah, twins pod. But so you were one of the first doctors to push back against the dogma everybody else was pushing about how to treat COVID. What was that like?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I never imagined that. I have a solo practice, very quiet in Houston. And I'm ear, nose, and throat. And so I see a lot of respiratory tract infections. And when people came to see me, I treated them. I did what I thought I was supposed to do. And at first I started with hydroxychloroquine, but then Trump said it was the best thing ever.
Well, that's a kiss of death right there.
Exactly. A week later, I kid you not, Texas State Board of Pharmacy shut us down. We were not allowed to prescribe hydroxychloroquine or azithromycin. We couldn't even prescribe a Z-Pack for COVID.
Simply because Trump?
Because of, they didn't admit that, but the timing was pretty right. And so I kind of put that on the back burner, and then I started using monoclonal antibodies, and those worked wonderfully. I could get as many doses as I wanted. I would just contact the manufacturer, and they showed up at my office the next day, and things were really good. And then the government took over distribution of monoclonal antibodies, so they became harder and harder to get, and then they just completely shut them down. And the time, and this was all trying to get everybody to get the shot, because you look at the timing of everything. As soon as Biden mandated the shots, they shut down monoclonal antibodies completely, and then I started using ivermectin, and that's when things got difficult.
Well, why can't you take the antibodies and get the vaccine? Why has it just got to be the vaccine?
Well, there's, first, if you're going to do an emergency use authorization, you can't have something that works better.
Or competitor.
Right. And then I just think it was strategic, right? People were not getting the COVID shots because they had a treatment option, right? If you can get treated, and monoclonal antibodies were a little bit new, but they were safe. I will say that. Like, I didn't have any issues with them in terms of, like, the COVID shots. And there was also a rule that if you got monoclonal antibodies, you had to wait 3 months to get the shot. So people are using that as an excuse, like a stall tactic. So they couldn't have that. They were very upset that people weren't getting these shots, and that's where they attacked ivermectin. The FDA went after ivermectin. So in March of 2021, they issued a statement on their website saying, doctors, you can't use ivermectin to treat COVID, and they told people not to do it. And that wasn't working, so then they put out that horse tweet.
Horsey warmer.
Yes.
That's the same time they took Joe Rogan and made him look like he was lime green.
It was late August, early September, and the horse tweet went viral. And I mean, it had dire consequences.
It was all over late night talk shows. It was everywhere. People was making fun of Republicans for taking horse work.
Exactly. Well, and that's still going on. Literally, last week, Vanity Fair ran an article on Maha and Cali
Vanity Fair.
Right. Well, and they quoted me, and in the quote, they added, prescribed horse dewormer for, I mean, this is Friday. I couldn't believe it. So
I've read some articles in Vanity Fair. Those people have absolutely no credibility.
No, well, I made the mistake of thinking I could trust them.
Right.
So anyway, we actually sued the FDA over that tweet, and we won. Which was nice, but...
Got paid, huh?
Well, no, we didn't get any money.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
You get your credibility back.
Yeah.
But
I mean, unfortunately, it really didn't do much, right? I mean, we need the FDA to come out and make a statement saying, this is actually safe for humans, right? Because everybody still thinks of it as horse medicine.
Do you think they're ever going to do that?
Well, I'm going to keep pushing on it, but it's not a hard thing for them to do, and it's scientifically valid. So.
Let me ask this: by them blocking all these other treatments, does it keep the rich people from getting rich from the vaccine? Is that why it was money motivated?
Yeah, I mean they were expecting everybody to rush out and get it, and so in April of 2021, this is 4 months after the shots came out, Houston Methodist Hospital became the first hospital in the country to mandate the shots. And this was 5 months before Biden. And that's how I kind of got tangled up in this mess, because I had privileges there, and I just started speaking out mostly about mandates. I mean, that's what got me in trouble.
I thought that was a conservative red state.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. So I think I have a theory that healthcare is turning Texas blue because of, and I think mandates started in Texas quite purposefully. I think it was very deliberate. I feel like they knew that if they could get away with the mandates in Texas, they could get away with them anywhere. And
looks like it's going to backfire on them. I would think.
I don't know. There were there was a bill in Texas to ban mRNA. There was a bill in Texas to make ivermectin over the counter. Neither one of them got near. They didn't even get.
Democrats voted against it, right?
Well, yeah, but the Republicans, the Republicans in Texas,
they voted against it too.
Yeah, they didn't even come up for a vote. They didn't even get scheduled on the calendar for a hearing. So. It's frustrating. And Texas, like in Houston, where I am, we have the largest medical center in the world. So it brings in people from all over and it dilutes our conservative values. And I think it's an infiltration of our system, and our economy in Texas is really dominated by healthcare. People think oil and gas, but it's actually healthcare.
Oligarchs in healthcare.
Yeah. So
I didn't realize, like I would think, like the medical profession would be not as corrupt as it sounds it is.
Well, yeah, we are put on this higher pedestal, right?
Right.
But I think the pandemic exposed that, and I didn't realize it either. I mean, I assumed FDA was ethical and the government was ethical, and and the pandemic really exposed all that.
You mentioned earlier that you have your own practice. You're independent. What's the major differences between a independent office and someone who's like they have to answer to pharmaceutical companies or other doctors or?
Yeah, I mean, I call myself third-party free, so I don't contract with hospitals, the government, or insurance companies. And so the only people I work for are my patients, and that's an unusual way.
That's the way it should be, right?
Yeah. I mean, granted, I don't take insurance, so that's the downside, but everything, the prices are very transparent, and you can get reimbursed by your insurance company. But there's a whole model out there called direct primary and direct specialty care medicine, where it's just, you just pay your doctor directly. And for direct primary care, I'm a specialist, but primary care doctors, it's comparable to joining a gym in terms of what you pay. So you pay like a monthly fee, and then you get much more time with your doctor and much more access. And the doctor limits how many patients they take in, so they have more time, and there's less red tape that they have to deal with. So it's just a more efficient way.
And you don't have to deal with the bureaucracy. You can actually treat your patients how you see fit. These other places, they can't.
Right. So, and that served me well.
So who came and said you can't use ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, and all these other drugs?
No one directly said that. But when I started, so basically, I was seeing all these COVID patients. I was seeing that these shots weren't working. At first, I just saw the breakthrough cases where,
That's they call them breakthrough. They was just as isolated.
So, and I started tracking them. So what I found was that the vaccinated outnumbered the unvaccinated, and that they were just as sick, if not sicker. And so I went to Methodist first. I didn't just go out on social media. I said, hey, are you seeing what I'm seeing? What's going on? I thought what's going on?
Yeah, because they were saying if you take the shot, you won't get sick. And if you do get sick, you won't get as sick as other people going to the hospital.
You will not, that we were guaranteed, right?
And it won't spread.
Right. And so I asked them what's going on, and they just gaslit me. They said, well, we think it lowers the severity.
Right, you won't die.
Right. And but that's never been shown. There's no studies showing that, actually.
Y'all like that last RAM we gave away? Yeah. So we got us another one. Check this RAM out. 2500 heavy duty turbo diesel RAM. RAM or RAM. It's got all kinds of RAM action. Yeah, I love this RAM. You can really ram something with this. What color is this? Graphite? That is white supremacist graphite right there. Got a good handle on it. See that handle? Built like a tank, but it drives like a race car. Go to officialhardswings.com. Anything you buy from the site get you automatically in a win. Yeah. No purchase necessary. Going where prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.